Music is going. We are live. What is up, YouTube? It's me. Maybe the most undeserved regional finalist of all time. So, I have talked about it in my AG laddering video a little. I think the second one still isn't up, which is my fault. But I got second place at the Sacramento Regional Championships in the Video Game Seniors Division. Crazy, I know. So yeah, this is going to be a team report, tournament report. I'm going to go over all of my rounds in some amount of detail. You know, this video is maybe going to just be hour to 2 hours of just me kind of yapping about it. And maybe no one but my family will watch it, and maybe it'll get 8 billion views, because the algorithm loves long videos. There's no editing in this one, though. Ooh. Okay, it might be over. So, as you can see, though, I brought Rain, and this team was like 90% made by my good friend Caleb Croft. So huge shout out to him. I might link his Twitter in the description. I don't really know, I don't really know if he has a YouTube or anything I could plug, but he approached me with this team at like the beginning of the format. It originally had a Hydreigon over this Talonflame here, and some of the spreads were different. The Basket Legion was Clear Amulet, the Overcoat was Covert Cloak. So I refined it, but he made the heart and soul of the team. So, you know, Pelipper is here to do Pelipper things. It hits really hard if Rain is up. It sets Rain. You know, Wide Guard is a big help into the Psy Spam matchup, and the T-Tar matchup also does well into something else. I think I forgot. Alolan Ninetales, that's the one. And Alolan Ninetales really helps into that, so because this team doesn't do great into Blizzard. Your only resist is Basket Legion, which does not have the best defenses. So yeah, that's why I opted with Wide Guard, because I already have Talonflame, which is, like, in my opinion, pretty much the most consistent Tailwind setter in the format, bar none. Yeah. So there's that. Archaludon, pretty standard. More physically bulky than most Archaludon I've seen, right? My experience, you didn't really need the special attack, because, like, Modest just hits so strong after an Electroshock boost, right? And the 92 defense lets you live Adamant, Sneasler, Close Combat 87% of the time, and you always live Jolly. So I got a lot of lives on Sneasler that a lot of people weren't expecting. I'm pretty sure this is more Fizz Def than normal. That's what I've been told, but you know, those people might be wrong. I don't really know about other people's spreads. Basket Legion and Overquill, you know, everyone knows what Basket Legion does. Terragrass for these two is just great defensive type for both of them. Ignores Rage Powder and Spore, which is really helpful. Yeah. Overquill's the real, you know, creative pick of this team. Kind of sauces, I won't lie. You know, Adamant 2v2 attack, just huge amounts of damage. It outspeeds all Adamant Basque. It might outspeed Jolly Basque, I don't even know. Outspeeds 90% of Goldengo, and Oko's with Throat Chop because of Black Glasses. Haze, alongside Terragrass Archaludon, means that if you lose the Dozo matchup with this team, your opponent's either running a really weird Dozo team or you're just kind of bad at the game. Every Pokemon on this team that can run Protect does run Protect. I feel like it's just so incredibly valuable for pivoting and everything like that. I wish there was a picture. There's still no pictures for the PLA mons, which kind of sucks, but whatever. But yeah, Poison Jab just does damage. It beats Prim. And Throat Chop is also great because like there's a lot of sound move users running around. You know, Como-O, Primarina, Blood Moon. So yeah, Throat Chop's great. Overqwil is just a very, very good Pokemon. You could replace it with Sneasler. I like Overqwil because it's fast and it has Haze, but realistically, Sneasler is probably better here. I don't like Sneasler, I'll be real. Blursa Talon. I thought that this was the call for the event, and evidently I was right because I got second, and Carson Confer won Masters with it. So, nasty Tailwind core, but Talonflame I feel is like a great. I don't really know if I would call it an innovation at this point. When I was first pitched the team, right at like, you know, week 1 of Reg H, Talonflame Blursa on Rain was really cool though. Speed benchmark is wrong. This is for Whimsicott, Jolly Whimsicott, or Timid Whimsicott. It should be for Jolly Sneasler, so make sure you hit like, I think it's 290 or 190, whatever. Yeah, but you make sure you're hitting that. Yeah, I know that Protect is kind of unorthodox. I don't know, I ran both Will-O-Wisp and Flare Blitz in testing, and neither of them really felt as good as just being able to click Protect into, like, you know, maybe there's something niche, like a Fake Out breaks your Gale Wings even though you have Covert Cloak, and then you get, you know, killed by something faster or a priority move. Being able to shut down being able to shut that down is cool. You know, Terraflying Brave Bird just kind of nukes things. Covert Cloak makes you immune to Fake Out for very, very, very consistent Tailwind setting. And yeah, I feel like every combination of 4, barring some with Ursaluna. Ursaluna's kind of reliant on Tailwind. Oh no, this is 212 speed. Okay, yeah. Originally it wasn't 212 speed, and it had something like, I think, 50 special defense. So, if you're using the rental code, it's not going to outspeed Sneasler. Yeah, so something to note. If you're using the rental code, it won't outspeed Jolly Sneasler. If you're going to use the Showdown Paste, it will outspeed Jolly Sneasler. But yeah, Blood Moon's kind of reliant on Tailwind, as I was saying, which is another reason that, like, maybe you would want to run a second Tailwind with Pelipper over Wide Guard. I really think both are equally as good, especially since being able to Tailwind and Electroshot turn 1 sounds really, really nice. But yeah, that's kind of the team. Again, giant shout out to Caden Croft, just for kind of being the GOAT and passing me this team. Because again, like, he made it. Like, I've piloted it far more than he has because he dropped it because he didn't believe in it. But at the end of the day, it really is just his team. So in the description, I'll leave this Pokepaste, and I will leave the rental code if you want to try it in game, out of game, whatever. Yeah. Sounds like a plan. All right. Wait, guys, check this out. Okay, wait. I need to do the partial thing. So I'm going to go over my run. I want it to be like the half split. There we go. Okay, beautiful. So now we can look at my team, and we can look at the other person's team, and we can talk about it. By the way, I just want to say, like, slight side tangent. Hudson, the kid that won the event over me, so incredibly good at this video game, man. I had the highest win-loss differential aside from Hudson, tied with Robert and Charlie here, which with a differential of 4. So that's tied for second best is a 4 differential, and his was 8. So, like, I don't know, that's just insane. Like, shoutouts to Hudson. He fully deserves this. He was 1,000,000% like the best player in the venue. Like, on this day. I'm sorry for the zoom in there. But yeah, he just kind of did better than everyone, and he deserves this win. So, round 1, I played against Ethan. Where are you, Ethan? Hello? I know he made top 16. There he is. Okay. So, Ethan. I actually played Ethan at my first local. Fun fact, it was both of our first locals, and I kind of mopped him. I won't lie. So he was running this list, and the first thing that I noticed is he kind of has an overkill problem. Outspeeds his whole team, right? It can't touch King Gambit, but King Gambit, like, obviously can do more damage back, but it gets pretty chipped down by Throat Chop, if you could believe it. Especially because there's no Rilla on this team, so it's not getting any passive recovery ever. And he's also running Throat Spray Primarina, which is really reliant on its Hyper Voice for its damage, so Throat Chop can just kind of shut that down. With that being said, I lost game 1 of this set to a crit. It was kind of unlucky. But yeah, he has a bit of a problem with that. And then once, he never brought Goldengo, because he just wasn't confident bringing it into Overquill Basket Legion, as well as Blood Moon with potential Tailwind. So I knew he wouldn't bring Goldengo, because some people do, some people don't. Ethan's just not the kind of player who's going to take that risk, from what I've seen. And Mega Range Shadow Ball oh, it's not showing the fourth move, sorry. Wait, what? Hello? Can I see the fourth moves of his bottom 2 Pokemon? Oh yeah. So he was also running this weird Goldengo with Trick and Protect instead of a third attacking move. So like, I feel like if he had Power Gem or T-Bolt or something, it could have helped him out. Okay, it's just Protects for the bottom moves. But yeah, so the whole set, he just brought these 4, Talon, Prima, Sneasler, Gambit. But yeah, game 1 I lost to, I think, a crit from the Prima on my Arcalodon, which is whatever, like, it happens. And then game 2, I kind of just won the lead matchup and won from there. Game 3, he led Talonflame, and I went for a play with it, which I think was like Aqua Jet with my Basket Legion, and then Weather Ball with my Pelipper, something like that. Something to break its Gale Wings and something to kill it. Probably wasn't Pelipper because that's slower anyway. But our Talonflame were speed tying, which was interesting because I was hitting a weird benchmark, so I thought I would just be slower than most other Talonflame, but he was also hitting that weird benchmark apparently. The thing that I was the most worried about that he never actually went for at like any point was just Terra Dragon Sunny Day, because I feel like Terra Dragon Sunny Day kind of just cooked me, like, entirely, I'll be real. Don't really have great answers to it other than just like lead Talon Arch and then just Tailwind Draco, but that leaves me open to like Prima stuff, and it leaves me open to, Sneasler kind of just dunking all over me. He was running Terra Flying without... Oh, for Earthquake, yeah. I was like, Terra Flying without Acrobatics is interesting. He also wasn't running Fake Out on his Sneasler, which I think hurt him a lot in this matchup. He had a lot of points where, like, he really wanted to, like, Fake Out my Pelipper or my Overquill specifically, and he just, like, couldn't. But it went down to Game 3. Game 3 was really, really close. I think in the end we both misplayed because I targeted his Gold instead of his Gambit, but he targeted my Basket instead of my Arch. So yeah, so we both misplayed. It ended up working out for me, and I won my round 1. My round 2, as you can see, was a loss to Morgan. Morgan was running Hard Trick Room. I don't like Hard Trick Room. So, game 1, I'm pretty sure they led, like, Gallade and Didi. And I was like, I always, every single time I'm playing this kind of structure, I always just lead Basket Legion Overquill, because they can threaten the most damage. But I just went for Wave Crash the Gallade, Throat Chop the Didi, because I figured it was just going to be a follow me Trick Room line, right? But she didn't follow me. She just went for, I don't know what she went for with her Gallade because it died, but she went for Terra Fairy Trick Room with her and Didi. And I kind of just lost the game to Hatterene in the back from there. Game 2, she led... what's it called? She led Indeedee Ursa, which I was really confused by, so I just kind of made the same play. I went for Throat Chop into Dedede and Wave Crash into Dedede, because I don't really care if one of my Pokemon die. This way, her Indeedee, which does not have Protect, it's Trick Room, Follow Me, Helping Hand, Dazzling Gleam, can never get off Trick Room, right? So I don't care if I sack. And she went for Trick Room with Trick Room and Indeedee and Terra Ghost Headlong into my Overquill, and the Ursa still took like 70 from Wave Crash after Throat Chop, obviously OHKO the DD, which was kind of wild. But yeah, I lost my Overquill, but she just couldn't get a Trick Room off from there, and that was the game. Game 3 was rough. I didn't even talk about like the matchup at all. So the matchup is weird. It's like most hard Trick Room matchups where obviously it's significantly easier if I can keep Trick Room off, but Taunt doesn't really work with Talonflame, which was my matchup into like, which is my plan into like Porygon 2 Ursa stuff, because, you know, obviously Magic Bounce and Follow Me and stuff, right? So Talon isn't really my bring here ever, and it's pretty much always just the 4 rain guys, right? And I think this is what I brought all 4 games. But game 3, she led Hatterene and Dedede, which was fine. But then she went for Terra Water on the hat, which I was not expecting. So I killed the Indeedee with Wave Crash, and I got Poison Jab, did about, you know, 40 to the Hatterene. So it was like bulky as hell. And then like I got a poison, which was really important, because if I didn't get that poison, I pretty much just guaranteed lost the game. It chipped down the Hatterene way, way faster. So yeah, I kind of was forced to sack my way through Trick Room, and I had Rain up against a minus like 3 Torkoal, or no, it wasn't minus, it was just weak as hell. And at the end of the day, it was their Torkoal and Indeedee against my Arcaludon, with 1 turn of Trick Room left, or with 2 turns of Trick Room left, and I got max rolled by Dazzling Gleam twice, and I lost. So it was a little unfortunate to get max rolled twice, but I also got a poison that really mattered, so I didn't feel too bad. I mean, like, I'll be honest, like, I didn't feel garbage about the loss in terms of my play. I just kind of felt garbage with the loss in the fact that, like, I was starting to kind of believe that I couldn't do it anymore. My mental was kind of spiraling. But then I got matched into Eli, who's down here, and this is just a great matchup for me. I play this kid Brooks at my local a lot, and he runs a very similar structure. I think 4 of his 6 are the same, which is these 4. And this is Matcha Gotcha Protect, okay. But the thing with this matchup is, for one, if you don't have Focus Sash Pelipper, it's a huge disadvantage in the Peli Arch Mirror, because I have Focus Sash, so I can always do extra chip to Arch. I can always do extra chip to Arch with Weather Ball, which can really, really matter. And his Pelipper was Stellar, which doesn't really matter. Ghost Pelipper doesn't really do much into me anyway. I think Stellar is like kind of strictly better. But the interesting thing that I thought about this team was, like, it had a Sinistcha with Trick Room, but it didn't really have anything to take advantage of the Trick Room. So yeah, I'll be really honest, I kind of mopped him 2-0. Like, he never really had a chance. I don't even really remember how the set went. But I'm pretty sure I just led Peliarch both games, and with Basculegion and Talonflame in the back, because Talonflame, Priority Brave Bird does work against this team, with the exception of Arch. But, you know, if I get, like, for example, some defense boost and I can force it to Terra Grass for whatever reason, which probably isn't happening, like, didn't happen during the set at least, then that can happen. I think I actually led Talon Arch one of the games when he led Pelipper for me, so I could just Tailwind Electro Shot his Pelipper, and I kind of just won the boost race. I feel like that's kind of how it went both times, is I just won the boost race. He tried to side pop bombing his Arch game 1, but I just overquill hazed it, which is another reason why haze is great. You know, I didn't really talk about it in depth, which I should have, but it's better. It makes you way better into Gambit. It makes you way better into opposing Arch, and obviously makes you way better into Dozo. So I won that really handily, and I was, you know, starting to feel better. And then I ran into Hudson. Oh, Hudson. The plain way to put it here, this last move here is Shadow Ball, and this last move here is, I think, Haze, right? Yeah, Haze. I got washed. I got really badly cooked. Game 1 was kind of sort of close. I threw really hard because I was like, oh, I guaranteed win with Arch, and I forgot that he just had Focus Blast Gold. Because all the ones that I was used to were either running Power Gem or, what's-his-face, Thunderbolt. But he hit Focus Blast, you know, he got his Tailwind off with the Omega, and he was just... Yeah, no, like, I couldn't hold a candle to him. So he always brings, in this matchup, Arch, Yon Mega, Golden Go, and then he kind of flips a coin as to whether he wants Rilla or Amoonguss. Game 2, I tried to be cute with my Talonflame and taunt his Yon Mega, which worked, but then my Talonflame died immediately, and he had speed advantage because his Archaludon is just max timid, which is psychotic, but it worked. And his Yon Mega got a speed boost and just kind of outsped everything. Yeah, so game 1 was kind of close, game 2 was not, and I lost on turn 1 when I went for a flashy play instead of a play that would have actually made me progress and won me the game. Because I kind of had to bring Pelipper, because I didn't really, I mean, like, Talonflame in this matchup looks really good, but it doesn't feel really good, because his Archaludon, I mean, like, and frankly, his Archaludon usage was just a lot better than mine. Like, I wasn't really sure what to do a lot of the time. I didn't really feel totally on during set 1, if that makes sense. Like, I kind of lost game 1 and kind of checked out of game 2 after I lost my Talon turn 1, and then his Yon Mega, like, you know, started struggle bugging my Arch, and I felt like I couldn't do anything a lot of the time. Yeah. Like I said, not a very eloquent explanation of any of my rounds. So then I played against not Johnny, where's John? John M, who had this very, very interesting team. With like Terra Fairy, Dazzling Gleam Gold, which is cool, but also I don't know how big of a fan I am of Specs Gold without Tailwind. So I kind of hate to toot. I feel like I'm tooting my own horn a lot, but this kid got destroyed by me. He was in an okay position game 1, but then he just randomly switched his Dondozo out into Como on my Draco Meteor and just lost on the spot. Which, for the record, Como should never come in this matchup. Overquill just applies way too much pressure to it, and Overquill looks really good into this team in general. Shuts down Como's the two moves Como wants to use in this matchup, right? You don't want to be stuck to Flamethrower and Rain with no Throat Spray boost. You know, it kind of annoys Dondozo, right? Like, this isn't Dozogiri Dondozo, but you just kind of Terra Grass in front of it and do whatever you want, which is kind of half my team in front of Dozo. But he brought his Dozo both games, which is I thought was interesting, because I feel like Dozo kind of just looks like hot garbage water here. Like, you have to, you know, you lose in damage trading to Pelipper. You have to hit a Fissure against Archaludon. You have to hit a Fissure against Bask has to get his Last Respect powered up. But so, like, you go kind of even into Bask. Overquill, I can see it, but again, Terra Grass just annoys you and harasses you. You get Nuked by Blood Moon, and you beat Talonflame. So, I don't know. I feel like the 4 to bring here were always Electabuzz Gold, Rillaboom, Sneasler, but he brought these 4 game 1, Electabuzz, Dondozo, Goldengo, Kommo-o, and then I think game 2 he just dropped the Kommo-o for Rillaboom. But yeah, I read his Terra really hard both games. I Poison Jabbed into his Goldengo with Overquill game 2 as it Terra Fairy'd, which won me the set. And yeah, I don't know, like, it's kind of hard for me to remember the details of these sets because I've been mulling over my top cut sets so much, right? But yeah, this kid was, like, I don't know, for whatever it's worth, John M, hilarious kid. He's so funny. Like, we had a conversation during our set about, like, just all kinds of different things, and I was like, after the set, I was like, man, you're great, like, don't change. And he was like, what can I say? I change people. So funny. I know it doesn't really sound that funny now that I'm, like, thinking it over. You just had to be there, man. Whatever. This is not talking about Pokemon anymore. Let's get back on track. Oh wait, I need to check his last moves that the website hides from me for some reason. Yeah, fake out high horsepower. Okay. So I beat John M. And so now I'm 2-2, and I go up. Oh no, I'm 3-2. So I have to win 2 more now. And I'm feeling very nervous because I get matched into Kira. And I've talked to Kira a little bit, like, online before, but I've never really met her in person. She was lovely. But, like, you know, she won NAIC, the most recent NAIC, I'm pretty sure. Like, you know, just phenomenal player. She's up there on the point leaderboards for NA. Like, very scary person. Oh, that's the wrong button. Protect Tailwind. Okay. But she had this very cool team where it's a Dondozo Tatsugiri team, but she removed the Dondozo Tatsugiri and replaced it with Garchomp Prima, which I thought was very cool. Both games the leads were 2 Talonflames, a Pelipper, and a Glimmora. And both games she went for Terra Grass and Tailwind immediately, and then Meteor Beamed my Talonflame. So I think game 1, we traded Talonflames turn 1 and got our Tailwinds. And I kind of just out-offensed her from there because her team does not like Basculegion. Because her Dragonite isn't multi-scale, which means that it takes quite a lot from just even 100 base power last respects. And she has 0 natural ghost resists and 1 ghost resist counting her Terra Normal D-Knight. And like I said, both games she immediately terraed her Glimmora because she was afraid of getting Hurricaned, or Weather Balls rather. So yeah, the whole set she effectively had no ghost resist against a Choice Band, Basculegion, and Rain. And that's never really a great thing to do. I think game 2, I just Hurricaned her Glimmora and it died. And then I brought an Arch and I Terra Grassed and she didn't bring gold. She brought D-Knight and Garchomp in the back. And she didn't bring gold because it was totally dead weight game 1 when she did bring it over, I believe, D-Knight, because Bask just kind of ran a train over her whole team game 1. But then, you know, without gold or Prim, and with Glim dead, she immediately just lost to Terra Grass Arch. Yeah. So this is my winning in against David, also known as Alexander. Let's see those last moves. It's 2 protects. Alright. So Alexander had this team. Sarah Legend Dondozo were never brought because it's rain, and you cannot bring those Pokemon into rain. Like, that's pretty much it. I believe game 1, the leads were Talonflame, Blood Moon on my part, and Vivian Rillaboom on his. And it went something like, double protect. Like I double protected on their fake out play, and then I went for Brave Bird, which got redirected by Rage Powder, and Hyper Voice, which did a decent chunk. As he took out my Blood Moon, and there was some kind of jockeying for positioning, but at the end of the day, I was in a bad position against Sneasler, but I got very lucky. I got the double protect that I needed to keep Talonflame alive. I killed Sneasler, and I got up my second Tailwind that I needed for my Basculegion to... No, not for my Basculegion. I believe it was for my Pelipper to outspeed his Vivillon. Something like that. I got a double protect that mattered because I needed the Tailwind for later. And I got it. So after that, game 2, it was kind of another jockeying for position where he gave up his Vivillon really early, and he didn't go for Sleep Powder once, which I found very interesting, because I feel like sleeping my team was pretty good, but maybe he was just afraid of my, fucking 3 Terra Grasses. But in the end, my Arch lived to close combat from Sneasler and killed it, which he seemed very surprised about. And Rillaboom Grassy Terrain Recovery is very, very good for Arch. He didn't get the horsepower crit that he needed, and I moved on. So next was my match against Charlie, and to put it bluntly, Charlie had kind of an abysmal matchup here, right? Like, Magmar kind of sucks here. King Gambit is okay, Rillaboom's good. Bask kind of sucks here because you always get outsped by my Bask and my Overquill and my Talonflame with Tailwind, and like, just so much. Kommo can never come here because you just get throat chopped and it's not a Pokemon. Ninetales is good, right? Alolan Ninetales is, in my opinion, better than like even T-Tar or Torkoal into Rain specifically. But it's not Aurora Veil. If you look at its attacking moves, their Weather Setter gets completely blanked by Wide Guard. So yeah, both games he led Gambit Magmar, and his Magmar just died in turn one to either Throat Chop from this guy or Weather Ball from this guy. And then... Or no, he never wasted his Terra on this, never mind, so it just died to Water Move twice, I think. I remember getting one shot twice, though. But game 1, we were in a position where he had chipped down my Arcalodon just enough for Ninetales to come in from the back and clean up, and my Pelipper was dead. Or my Pelipper was gonna die to Rillaboom, right? But my Pelipper protected, and he timed out on his move, and he Sucker Punched the wrong slot, which made him lose. And he just totally checked out from there. He was not playing, essentially. Like, he didn't play in game 2. Like, just stuff like encoring my Pelipper into Wide Guard and then not switching out his Ninetales. Like, just... Yeah, it felt bad. But I moved on. And at this point, I am guaranteed 4th. Yeah, guaranteed 4th. Which was insane, and at this point I was kind of freaking out. And here is Stuart, the second Ceruledge Sneasler Rillaboom core that I've had to face today, which I was not expecting to have to deal with. And it was really weird because I forgot multiple times over the course of the set that his Sneasler was Unburden and not Poison Touch, which kind of screwed me over game 1, where turn 1, the leads were Sneasler King Gambit into Ursa Talon, and I Brave Birded a Sneasler. It went down to Sash. I thought it was Grassy Seed for some reason, and then my Ursa lived to close combat, which was like 30%, and then crit his King Gambit to kill it with Earth Power, which felt kind of awful. And over the course, and then like, it came down to an Archaludon Pelipper endgame where he scale shotted my Pelipper that guaranteed just won him the game and missed. And then it was a 2v1 with my Terragrass Arch and Pelipper and his Gastrodon, and he'd already used his Terra on D-Knight, and he just couldn't win it. And then in game 2, it was kind of more of the same. It was Archaludon under Tailwind, and again, I dodged a Scale Shot on Talonflame that would have lost me the game. Or, no, it hit itself in Confusion. I didn't dodge, but it hit itself in Confusion. It got a few more crits that mattered. I don't remember exactly what they were, but I remember in total I got 3. 3, including the crit on Gambit that I mentioned. And so, yeah, I think game 1 he brought these 4, and game 2 he brought these 4. Yeah. Game 2 he overpredicted really hard. He went for Terra Blast into my Arch because he was predicting me to not want to eat stuff from Sneasler. But I figured that he was going to overpredict because I knew that he'd been playing a lot of Arch players today, and I figured that a lot of them were playing a lot more predictably than me and just clicking Terra Grass because they were afraid of the Sneasler. So honestly, I wasn't really expecting a Terra Blast even, something committal as that. I was just expecting kind of like a Dire Claw play, something like that, maybe just a fake out. So I didn't Terra. And that put me in a great position that he clawed his way back from, and then clawed his way out, and then I clawed my way out of it with the aforementioned Hurricane self-hit. So, out of like everything, like the double protect, which I feel kind of bad about the double protect against Alexander, but at the same time, like, it's a 33% chance. You know, it's not that incredibly lucky. Charlie, I feel bad, but also he timed out. Like, that's mildly his own fault. My win against Stewart is the only win of the whole tournament where I feel terrible, and I genuinely, legitimately feel like I 1,000,000% robbed this person. Like, I think Stewart should have gone to finals and not me, if we're being real. But, you know, sometimes that's just the game we play. And finals was against Hudson. Hudson again. I felt that I was playing a lot better, but I just couldn't do it, man. I tried messing with the Mega a bit more. I tried... You know, I think at the end of the day, my issue was that I was paying more attention to the speed control Pokemon, and I think if I just targeted down the Archaludon a little harder, I would have won. But I didn't. I think I over-focused on the N-Mega. I got a lot of calls right. It's also just kind of a tough matchup, right? Where, like, I really want to bring Pelipper for, like, these schmucks, but I can't because it helps this guy. But I, you know, ended up bringing it anyway. At the end of game 2, I got 2 out again. But at the end of game 2, I called the Terra Ghost on his Amoonguss, and I weatherballed it with Pelipper, and I just barely missed the roll, and that's what lost me the game. But, like, you know, like I mentioned, I really do just think he was the best player in the room. Like, game 1, I thought I had it for sure, and he just went for plays that I didn't even think of. Like, he protected his Archaludon way more than I thought he would. His Archaludon usage is just, like, I'm generally so jealous of it. Like, he preserves it so much better than I do, and it's partially because he had Protect, but, like, he's not even Stamina, and his Archaludon was lasting way longer than mine, which was crazy. But yeah, that was kind of scattered, honestly, not the best, but I've tried to record this, like, 4 different times, and that was the best that I've gotten, so you'll have to excuse my, my kind of scattered thoughts. I'm doing the best I can. I don't really have a great memory of the tournament, if I'm being honest, even though it was like 2 days ago, but I did my best to kind of just recap everything. I'm really, really happy with how I did. You know, I was barely expecting to cut, much less get second. This was my first regional ever. I have the money to go to San Antonio now. I'll be there. This is me. I really do hate to do the YouTuber thing, but hi, it's editing me. I went on this, like, giant rant right after that point. Like, not really a rant, just, like, a giant, like, Fuck, what do you call it? Not nuance. Tangent. I went on a giant tangent. Um, and it's kind of a shitty video ending. So just like, you subscribe, YouTube, plug, yada yada yada. Uh, giant thank you once again to Caden for making the team. Giant thank you to the people who made the music that I'm using. Um, this is a great way to end a video. I'm not recording another one of these. I've already tried like four. Okay, goodbye. Bye.